Hello, my name is Michelle Omari, and welcome to Silicon Valley Ed News. And today I am co-hosting with Carolyne Levin. So today our guests are from the Mountain View and Los Altos High School District. So we have Dr. Jeff Harding. Dr. Harding is one of the top educators in the country. The Mountain View Los Altos District was fortunate that he returned to the Silicon Valley. Dr. Harding, welcome to our show.
Thank you.
He is joined by the editor of the award-winning Los Altos High newspaper, Sofia Guo. Welcome, Sofia.
Thank you.
From Mountain View High, we have Avni Sinhal. Avni is one of the co-editors and chief. She has written many outstanding articles for the Mountain View High newspaper. Welcome.
Thanks.
She is joined by Tiffanie Luther, the co-editor and chief of the Mountain View newspapers. So welcome, Tiffanie.
Thank you.
Carolyne, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Michelle. Well, welcome, guys, for joining our show. We're really fortunate to have you all here. I've heard lots of good things. Really neat what you guys are doing. We're going to talk about that in a minute. First question. Hi, Dr. Jeff Harding.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Good. Good to be here.
Well, it's wonderful to have you, and again, so thrilled to have such an interesting group here that you brought on. So what was the initial, how did you find them? How did you, when I think you were asked to bring some inspiring young students on the show, and how did you find these students that do this really, really unique piece?
Good. Well, when Silicon Valley News approached me to do a piece here, I thought about my experience at Mountain View and Los Altos high schools and was struck after years of working in other school districts and other student publications when I was interviewed by both the school newspapers. I went to the class, I did a little introduction, and it was quite clear to me that this was different than what you find in other high schools. And it was different in a way because students really run this whole operation. And it's much more complex than you could imagine, certainly more complex than in other high schools. And they do it so capably. I thought, what a great opportunity for them to come and explain what they do and what they get from it.
Yeah. So the mystery, what do you girls do? Well, these girls have started two fantastic journalism, almost like little mini companies in your school. We have Talon, we have Oracle. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do? And you can each take your turn.
So the Talon is a 50-student newspaper, and we have many different departments. We have our media department, which consists of photo, graphic artists, and videographers. And then we also have our writing staff, which is one of the larger departments, and then our editors who manage the writing staff. And so all of these different departments work together to produce a monthly newspaper, and then on several months we do a special edition, our annual magazine, which we're working on this month, and then they also produce stuff for our website. So they all work together to produce this big project each month, but they also work as individual departments to produce their own projects. So that's a lot.
Sounds really extensive. Wow, that's cool.
So the Oracle is a 44-student publication, and we are separated into two classes. We have an Intro to Journalism class, which is for students just joining the paper for them to gain some experience and background, and they work really closely with the production class. And so we have a lot of different groups in our paper that work on different aspects. We have a print group, which has page editors and staff writers writing. We also have a web publication, which is a pretty much separately run group, and we have a business team that gets the funds to run our paper. And so we sort of have all of these groups work together in order to come out with the best publication possible. And we also try to get people to find what specific areas they're interested in, and also get an experience get experienced in all of the different types.
That's really neat. I don't know how I would be so overwhelmed with everything that you're doing. How do you feel about this, Tiffanie? You work at the same school as Avni. You're both in Mountain View.
Yeah, so we've both been in the publication in the newspaper for a long time. I joined my freshman year, and she joined her sophomore year. So we're pretty used to the whole community that Oracle has to offer. And, you know, we get the privilege to come up in front of class every day, to run class, to help the students out, and to learn ourselves along the way, because it's definitely a learning process. So I think overall, it can be a little difficult at times. It can be a little bit stressful, but it's such a rewarding experience that it's completely worth it in the end.
Okay. What are some of the challenges? What are some of the biggest challenges that you both all face?
So I think one of the biggest challenges that we face is trying to kind of balance between being someone's friend but also being an authoritative figure in the classroom. Because clearly, you know, we have a community. We're really good friends with pretty much everyone in the class. So it kind of becomes a little bit of a gray area when you're trying to be friendly to someone that you know outside of class, but at the same time, inside of class, you have to be an authority figure. You have to tell them what to do. You have to work with them and tell them how to do it. But I think overall, the students all really understand and respect our position, so it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think for me, it's firstly being in front of a class every day, running that, and having that sort of authority and confidence. But it's great to have Tiffanie, who's really good at that, to work with me. It's also making and being confident about decisions that affect a large number of people, and being able to make those decisions quickly and think on your feet. And so I think that's something I've really learned as part of this.
One of the biggest challenges with being the editor-in-chief of Talon is making the decision on how to lead editors and writers in certain directions. So they'll come up with great ideas, but you know, you have to learn as you go. So there's so the biggest challenge for me was to learn how to guide them in the right direction without actually knowing myself what the right direction was.
Oh, that's neat.
Yeah, so kind of learning along the way, that's my biggest challenge.
Absolutely.
You know, I'm wondering, like, how has writing, like, being the editor of the newspaper taught you any leadership skills? Like, how did I do that?
For me, it was a very long process. So I am a naturally very shy person. So when I first joined my sophomore year, I didn't even think about being an editor. It was kind of like a dream, but I never thought it would be reality. But after like 1 year, I thought, well, maybe I'll go for being a news editor. And then after that year, I said, why not just try for it? And then it's been very challenging to kind of get all those communication, like public communication skills. But it's very, like, it's tough, but I've learned along the way, like a lot of the leadership skills.
I think Tiffanie and I have learned that there's one aspect of leadership, which is being in front of people, being in the spotlight, but there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into it as well, like coordinating everything, being responsible, like responding to everybody's questions, and just being able to handle everything in a poised manner is something that has taken us a while to learn and been really valuable. So,
Yeah, I definitely agree with her.
Sweet. Yeah.
So do you girls have any college plans?
Are you planning on continuing with the journalism aspect, or just incorporating as a side thing, or what are your plans with that?
I plan to continue journalism as kind of one of my extracurriculars, if you can say that, in college. But I want to explore more of like business. Like you said, it's like running a small business, and I really, really am interested in that aspect. So I will be looking into that for my main college studies.
So Avni, can you tell us about your college plans?
yeah, so I hope to go into and study science and engineering and become a researcher, but I'm really interested in science communication, so communicating research in a way that's accessible to everyone, and I hope to continue that in college. In addition, I definitely want to be part of my school's newspaper and work on that, and I hope to double major or minor in a communications field in addition to my science degree.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so I'm hoping on majoring in communications, kind of along the same lines as journalism. I think being a part of Oracle has definitely opened my eyes to all that can, be done through print publications, through multimedia, and a lot of things like that. So I'm excited to learn about how to effectively communicate information to the public in a way to make a difference.
Fantastic. And what difference would that be?
Some sort of difference, hopefully a big impact, not in terms of just like breaking some huge story, but just also being able to be part of this whole movement towards, you know, different types of media, whether it be online, through apps, you know, video, things like that.
Okay, neat. So part of the new age, 21st century technology movement of having information more accessible to people. And
Definitely.
that kind of thing. And so you girls, I guess that you hold that sharing of knowledge and information very passionately. What does it mean to be part of this journalism group? And I say group, but is this a class during the day, or is this something after school, or do you do both?
It's a class during the day, so we have a class period 4 days a week, but we also meet long hours outside to produce the paper. We have production nights every 6 weeks that go from 2 to
as late as 1 a.m.
as late as 1 a.m. Occasionally. And so, and for me, I think for Tiffanie and I, it's really, it's a community, it's a class where we learn, but it's also where we produce a publication that for some students and many students is their main source of information and is a way of creating or spreading information and awareness to the entire school body and giving people a chance to express their thoughts and beliefs.
Talent as a club, but also as a class, is pretty interesting. That whole second family dynamic is very strong, and it's such a large group, so it's not just, you don't really get tired of seeing these same 50 people all throughout the year, and we do have very similar, like outside of class work times, so we also have production nights, we call them late nights, and those also go pretty late to produce a paper, and we also have bonding trips, and overall, it's just a great way for students to express their ideas and kind of learn all these business skills or interaction skills on the way. So,
yeah, it would be.
You know, I'm from Milpitas High School. I've never been to Los Altos or Mountain View. Can you tell me which school do you think is better?
So a wrap up.
Los Altos is better because it's a great school because it's diverse. There are so many different students with different interests and passions who are really active on campus in pursuing them, but also including other students who may not know exactly what they want to do, but these more passionate students bring them in, and then the diversity really helps them kind of get more involved, and so that Los Altos is a great place for it.
Mountain View, are you going to take that?
Yeah, I'd say we're both pretty much of the same caliber. We both have all the aspects Sofia was talking about, and especially this year we've been trying to communicate more between the schools just to make it easier for all the students within the district and bring that united front.
I think both of the schools have unique strengths, but like the district together creates a very forward-looking, improving perspective that's constantly trying to add things to the programs and make them even better. And so that's something that extends to both schools and that we really admire.
Well, very well said. All right, well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show today. Michelle and I have had a lot of fun getting to know you guys and what you do, and it must be so awesome to be superintendent and to be able to work with these girls and oversee them, and it's really, really, really neat position to get to experience that real life context in the school.
Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, thank you for coming. It's an honor. So thank you for joining us today on Silicon Valley Ed News, and after a short break, we will be back with a new segment of interviews.